about the band, and about playing as part of an ensemble, regardless of age. Sometimes it looks like a retiree helping a middle school student learn a new trill, and sometimes
Per Dave Lee's chronometer, we're going to call the 7 p.m. Culpeper County Board of Supervisors regular meeting to order. We have an agenda before us. Are there any additions or deletions? Hearing none, we'll move forward. The first item is the Citizen Forum. For the Citizen Forum, citizens can speak up to 30 minutes on any item not on the agenda. We begin with those on the sign. I'm sorry, 3 minutes. 30 minutes total. Thank you very much for clarifying that. 3 minutes for up to 30 total. At the end of the 30 minutes, I will poll the board and see if we continue the Citizen Forum, likely after all regular business. But with that, we will begin with the signups for 3 minutes each. First up, Kurt Christensen.
Good evening. I'm Kurt Christensen from the Stevensburg District. I have some thoughts about the proposed new county courthouse. I implore the Board of Supervisors and the Town Council to go beyond what might be required by law and hold a voter referendum on the proposed new county courthouse. Often elected officials get out of touch with their constituents. That happened last fall when all 3 incumbent supervisors were defeated by challengers. As you can see from the handout that I gave you all, this out-of-touch attitude was present in the 2018 general election when 56% of Culpeper County voters opposed a $13 million bond issue for a community recreation center. Elected officials and many prominent citizens were strongly in favor of the bond issue. And 2018 was otherwise a bad year for conservatives, as Congressman Dave Bratt lost his election to Abigail Spanberger and the U.S. House flipped to Democratic control. So it was not a big wave for conservatives, but despite this, only 2 precincts out of 15 in Culpeper County voted in favor of the bond issue. So again, the dogs don't like the dog food, and sometimes elected officials kind of get in the hot tub and rub each other's back and kind of forget what people out here think. So anyway, also, I request that any voter referendum on the courthouse have the option of none of the above. It should be a choice. The choices should not be by highly paid consultants of several options that mandate expensive construction at taxpayer expense. COVID and high technology have resulted in digitized records that have greatly reduced the need for citizens to physically visit the courthouse. Deeds for real property are now recorded from a lawyer's office electronically without the need to visit the courthouse. Since most county property records are digitized, citizens can pay a modest sum and access these property records from their homes and their businesses, or even when they're on vacation, even when they're in a hot tub, okay? Also, an increasing number of civil court proceedings are done virtually, again, reducing the demand for county buildings. These exciting trends will increase as artificial intelligence and digitalization are more widely adopted. As a result, it is wise for the Board of Supervisors and the Town Council to move slowly on plans to build a new courthouse. The needs for bricks and mortar is changing rapidly. Again, please go beyond what the law required. Don't break the law, but we can lean certain ways here and hold a referendum on building a new courthouse. Moreover, the referendum should allow a none of the above alternative. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up is Devin Borden.
Good evening. My name is Devin Borden. I'm a rising senior at the College of William & Mary, studying government with a minor in business administration. After undergrad, I plan to attend law school with an interest in constitutional law. Over the past several months, I have followed the Valley Link and Yeet substation proposals closely. I attended the last 2 board meetings and have spent a great deal of time reviewing the information presented by both Dominion and the citizens of Culpeper County affected by this project. Tonight, I want to thank this board for its unanimous vote to send a letter to PJM opposing the project in its current form. As a student of government, I have spent a great deal of time studying the principles of our country, the principles that this country was founded upon, and the role elected officials play in protecting the rights of people they serve. One of the most important principles is that government exists to serve its citizens, not the other way around. Today, after hearing the facts and concerns presented by your constituents, you chose to stand with the people you are elected to represent. That is exactly what good governance looks like. I support this decision not only because Richardsville is my home, but because I believe government works best when it remains accountable to its citizens and when public officials are willing to ask difficult questions before allowing irreversible impacts to the community. Whether or not everyone agrees with each decision made by this board, I believe today's vote demonstrated something important, that local government can still listen, evaluate the facts, and act in the best interest of the people it represents. As a young person who hopes to build a future in this community, that gives me hope. Thank you for your decision, thank you for your time, and thank you for your service to Culpeper County.
Thank you. Kristen Borden.
Hello again, you all know me, Kristen Borden, and I wanted to also begin by thanking you for your unanimous vote today to send a letter to PJM opposing this project in its current form. I know this hasn't been an easy day today. Beyond Valley Link, this board has been faced with difficult discussions regarding personnel matters, investigations, and accusations made during public session. While citizens naturally want transparency, I also understand that employment decisions and certain investigative matters, they can't be discussed because of legal and confidentiality. In absence of this information, we can often speculate. But I think today's vote demonstrated that something matters just as much, is that the unanimous commitment of this group to stand for Culpeper County. And so we thank you for that. For many residents, that goes a long way to rebuilding trust. I also want to be clear about who I am and why I'm standing here, because you've heard me up here a couple times now. I'm not an activist. I'm not anti-technology. I do not hate AI. In fact, I work in business leadership and spend much of my professional life focused on growth, innovation, and problem solving. Tonight, I was supposed to be on a plane to a leadership meeting. I'm here instead because protecting my home and my community was more important, and luckily enough, my leaders agreed with me. This fight is not a hobby for me. It's not how I would choose to spend my limited free time. It's required countless hours of research, meetings, filings, presentation, and community outreach. I have the full support of the teams I work with and the full support of the community as well, and that's made all the difference. I want you to know that the citizens sitting in this room have done their homework. We are not opposing this project because we're uninformed. We are opposing it because we are informed. In fact, most of us could answer the questions that were asked today. So as this project moves forward, I ask the board to be prepared for what comes next, because we've studied up on that as well. Across the country, communities facing projects like this have reported pressure campaigns, claims that infrastructure is too important to be questioned, promises of future economic benefits, offers of community funding, and coordinated efforts to create appearance of broad public support, including emails, form letter that come from people that you've never met or heard from before. Please remember that none of those things answer the fundamental question before us. Is this the right place? An industrial-scale transmission corridor and super substation do not belong in a well-water-dependent agricultural community with limited emergency accesses, limited evacuation routes, and families who invested their lives here based on the expectation that the county's planning documents and zoning decisions meant something. Even if the project were reduced in size, even if additional promises are made, even if more money were offered, those facts don't change. The issue is not the price, the issue is the place. So I want to thank this board for listening, for asking questions, and for standing with your citizens today. We will continue doing our part. I can assure you this community will remain engaged, informed, and committed to protecting Culpeper County for as long as it takes. Thank you.
Savannah Smith.
Good afternoon. My name is Savannah Smith, and I live in the Stevensburg district. I was born and raised in Culpeper, where I still currently reside today. My hometown means more to me than just a place on a map. It's home, tradition, and a way of life. At 23 years old, I'm proud to come from a family that has been a part of agriculture for 5 decades. Farming isn't just an industry in our family, it's heritage, our livelihood, and something that has shaped generations before me. I grew up in 4-H, showing cattle and sheep, which allowed me to develop a deeper passion for agriculture at a young age, and eventually raised my own bred and owned Hereford beef cattle with my little sister. Those experiences taught me responsibility, dedication, and the value of hard work. They also helped shape who I am today and deepen my appreciation for the agricultural community here in Culpeper. Agriculture is the backbone of our community, from livestock farms and crop fields to local cooperatives and farming families. Agriculture keeps Culpeper strong and connected. We also have a large agritourism sector that brings people to our community to experience farm life, local businesses, wineries, markets, and the beauty of our rural community. Agriculture not only supports our economy, but also preserves the character and tradition that makes Culpeper special. Growing up in Culpeper has shown me the value of rural life and the importance of protecting our farmland for future generations. Unfortunately, the growth of data centers, residential developments, and large solar facilities threatens to disrupt that way of life. Productive farmland is being lost, rural landscapes are changing, and the agriculture heritage that generations have worked hard to build is at risk. While growth and progress are important, it is equally important to protect the land and farming community that have long been the foundation of Culpeper County. I urge the Culpeper County Board of Supervisors to protect this land and support the agriculture community that has sustained this county for generations. Once farmland is lost, it can never truly be replaced. Protecting agriculture means protecting our economy, our heritage, and the future of rural families like mine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're still learning this. Glenn Kirk.
Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening, Chairman, Board. Thank you for taking my comments. I'm Glenn Kirk from the Salem District, Boston, and I'd like to speak tonight more from to address this issue more from a macro perspective. Of course, I'm passionate about the local content of this issue. I'm concerned for Richardsville. I'm concerned for the county making wise choices. But it is pertinent to look at this from a broad point of view, because it is about AI, it is about digital life, it is about data centers. It's all connected, as I've said before to you. So I'd like to begin in this context by borrowing a line from Bob Dylan's apocalyptic masterpiece, All Along the Watchtower. Many of you might have heard the song. We must not talk falsely now, the hour is getting late. To wit, we need to employ an enormous level of intellectual honesty while speaking to this issue, because the hour is getting late. What this board and the people of Culpeper County are responding to is nothing less than an existential crisis. The proposed 765 kV Valley Link, the 450-acre Richardsville Yeat substation, and the burgeoning data center issue being hotly protested across this country is a political, economic, and an environmental showdown. The looming battle facing the people of Richardsville and broader Culpeper County should be viewed as a war between two mighty forces: a greedy cabal of big tech futurist billionaires, a powerful consortium of energy corporations, and a broad host of investment firms and institutional backers, versus democracy and the people. What I'm suggesting, whether we realize it or not, is that we are heading into a tumultuous, society-wide paradigm shift. Dot after connecting dot epiphany upon epiphany, the nation is awakening to a crisis of total AI and data center colonization. We as a group have already established that this is all about AI, the forced introduction of AI into our lives, into our families, our communities. Excuse me, we as a group have, pardon me, but when you really study the issue and do a deep dive into this, you find AI fundamentally is a garbage in and garbage out system.
Sir, if you could wrap up shortly, that'd be
Pardon me, I will. Think of this as the fight that we've all been waiting for. I want to conclude with a quote by American writer Margaret Wheatley. There is no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathleen Rogers-Kirk.
I'm short. Good evening. My name is Kathleen Rogers-Kirk. I live in Boston in the Salem District. I want to thank the board for your support of the Richardsville Coalition, but we can't stop there. The sprawl of data centers continues. My husband, myself, our 2 children, my sister, her husband, their 2 children, and my parents moved to Virginia in 2002. We all settled in Culpeper County. We were very intentional about where we chose to live and how we live. We invested our hearts and our money in that chosen lifestyle. Needless to say, I am vehemently opposed to this horrific Valley Link substation proposal. It would clear thousands of acres, impact hundreds of property owners, and irreparably change the entire region. Forests, farmlands, valuable habitat lost. The burdensome land use imposes high environmental and community costs relative to their local benefit. This is a people's issue. We all know that data centers are being built primarily for AI, mass surveillance, and military applications. AI will take our jobs away. Just take a look at the recent college graduation ceremonies where the speakers from the billionaire Epstein class were booed by the graduates while touting the benefits of AI. Our young people get it, and they vote. Regarding mass surveillance, the sudden awareness of flock cameras collecting information on our movements, the car we drive, even the bumper stickers we have, and military use. One only has to look at Gaza to see the deadly, devastating use of AI and surveillance for proof. Anybody heard of the program, Where's Daddy? Now, regarding the data centers that already exist and the many that will inevitably be coming, I don't have to tell you about the noise pollution, the power demands that drain the power grid, increasing local rates, the air pollution due to diesel backup generators, the water consumption of millions of gallons per year that could be better used for our communities and protection of our natural environment. The health risks associated with exposure to high voltage transmission lines and EMFs whose long-term effects are still being researched. I don't know about you, but I don't want myself or my community to be this industry's lab rat. It's clear to me that you have a lot to consider and weigh. I will end with a thought, not mine, but it accurately represents how I feel. Some places aren't empty land waiting for better use. They are the use. Some things should stay exactly as they are, wild, open, untouched. The best parts of Virginia were never meant to be sold. Not now, not ever. Thank you.
Thank you. Gloria Maston.
First, I'd like to say thank you for this morning. You know, that was very welcoming for us, and we felt like you all really listened to what we had to say and present, and we really appreciated you taking that pause and really seemed to be listening to us and honoring what we were saying. That means a lot. The last 2 speakers are very global and makes us think about the bigger pictures. Now, I'm one of these people, I taught preschool and kindergarten, so I'm always down to the details, the little itty-bitty parts. And I think when we start hearing all of this, we we get a little frustrated. Where are we, or where can I be in that situation? Or how the world is changing. And of course, I'm on the older end, so being in the 70s, you start thinking about what was important and how can we preserve some of that. And I think Culpeper has always kind of held the culture and the value. We do hold on to what's important, what's been important for generations and generations. And I think our comprehensive plans reflected that. But somehow in the last few years, I feel like just even in our neighborhood, we've gotten away from that. I know in our neighborhood, we talk about leaving land to our children, a few acres, divided off. And now we have a 1-acre subdivision coming in Richardsville, which is really new to us. And then when you talk about the substation, a 17-story building, it's like a 17-story building being dropped in a rural area. That has an impact. That wakes us up. But anyway, I'm kind of going off on a tangent. But as we look at comprehensive plan and move forward, I think we can feel we have some control by doing what we can here. And I happened to come across an article from the Economic Development that said in 2024, $77.9 million came to our county direct visitor spending. 5.8 of that million ended up in direct related taxes produced, 5.8 million. We have something to offer. People don't come to see data centers. That article ended with, Culpeper continues to shine as a welcoming destination where history, culture, and natural beauty converge. I think we still have control of that. No matter what's going on around us, we can protect that and make decisions. And I think this morning was a step towards that. And I know I'm getting close. This weekend, there's a 163rd Battlefield Anniversary presentation. Clark Hall is presenting it. It's going to be at the Hansborough Ridge in Stevensburg. It's going to start with a lecture at Kelly's Ford, and we'll visit key locations in Stevensburg. At the locations, or some of the locations, are the largest concentration of untouched Civil War encampment features in the United States. Now, these are some of the changes from the last few years. If you're driving from Richardsville into town, you get to Stevensburg. Welcome to historic Stevensburg, the little white sign. The new 500 kV, the big brown galvanized poles, happen to run the ridge of Stevensburg. So it's almost like these tall gates.
Ms. Maston, if you could.
Okay, or tall gates that run up a ridge, and the placards for the Civil War, and I have a picture of it, they're here on the road, and right up the ridge are those row of the galvanized 500 kZs that are being used to bring power to the present data centers that have been approved. But anyway, since my time is up, I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Moving forward, value our comprehensive plan, and thank you for listening to the citizens and their input.
Jennifer Rossi.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Rossi, and I am here representing the Culpeper County Republican Committee. Your local GOP does not typically take positions on individual policy matters. However, given the significance of this issue and its impact on our community, we believe it is important to speak. As a reminder, Richardsville voted overwhelmingly Republican in the last November's election. The proposed Valley Link transmission line, culminating in an 85-acre substation in eastern Culpeper County, has understandably generated significant concern among residents. I would like to offer some perspective. First, there is no daylight between the Republican Party and this board on this matter. We support your efforts to be transparent, protect the rights of our citizens, and exercise fiscal responsibility. We commend you for your diligence and openness and you have demonstrated while navigating this difficult issue. Your specially called meeting 2 weeks ago provided residents with a clear understanding of what Culpeper is facing. A multi-state regulatory organization, PJM, identified a regional need for additional power. A regulated utility provider, Dominion Energy, was then tasked with developing a solution. Ultimately, the decision will rest with the state regulatory body, the SCC, which may choose to move forward with or without Culpeper's consent. In light of these circumstances, your responsibility is clear. Protect and advocate for your constituents. We ask that you represent the interests of Culpeper County by presenting our case before the SCC, and in the final decision, if the final decision does not favor our community, negotiate forcefully to secure the best possible outcome for our residents. This should not be a difficult decision. We respectfully ask that all 6 magisterial districts stand in solidarity with Supervisor Payne and the residents of the Stevensburg district. We further urge the board to authorize funding for qualified representation to present Culpeper County's case before the SCC. This effort may not ultimately change the outcome, but it is unquestionably the right thing to do. Every resident of Culpeper County would expect the same level of support if their community were facing a challenge of this magnitude. All we ask is that you will defend Culpeper's interests as if they were your own. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Jim Herlock.
Good evening. First, I would like to thank the Board of Supervisors of Culpeper County for giving us their unanimous support backing the citizens' opposition to the Joshua Falls Yeet project 2 times. So this morning was very nice. Thank you all very much for that. And if I may, I would like to give a brief history of Culpeper's will to protect and preserve the citizens and their lands. And that's not just for the ones that we've been involved, but we have some newcomers here, and hopefully they will get just a quick, brief message of why we're here. In 1775, Governor Patrick Henry called for Virginia militia to protect the capital of Williamsburg from British takeover. On July 17th, 1775, the Culpeper Minutemen were officially recognized. They had 350 men, and they comprised from Culpeper, Orange, and Fauquier counties together. These men began recruiting and mustering in September of 1775 under a large old oak tree in the present-day Yow Meadow Park. That's something to just picture in your brain, you know, it's like amazing to me. Our men carried and displayed a flag that had a coiled rattlesnake with the words "Liberty or Death" and "Don't Tread on Me" that was sewn onto it. Our story today is that Culpeper County citizens heard about the Joshua Falls to Yeet project and learned what is being proposed by the Valley Link, which is comprised of Dominion Power, TransSource, and First Energy Transmission, to move electric energy by towers with lines carrying 765,000 volts, and a substation to be located in Richardsville, a community of Culpeper County, to power data centers of Northern Virginia. Our response is opposing this calculated takeover, where they have given us little and or false information with little time to respond. So quick and precise reasons to oppose this project have been made with the Board of Supervisors' approval. And again, thank you for y'all's diligence and hard work with us in the effort to learn along as we go. And I really don't think that Dominion was expecting a very large resistance from all the 9 rural counties. I feel like we are the present-day Minutemen and women, along with the Board of Supervisors, in an effort to uphold our beliefs and values in protecting our citizens and our lands in this beautiful Culpeper and surrounding counties from where these outside sources that want to invade us and change our way of life and scar our communities forever. And I believe our motto still stands that our forefathers pledge, "Don't tread on me." Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Going to be pretty much on time. Frank Toomey.
Frank Toomey from Richardsville. Mr. Underwood, you made a comment this morning about board harmony, and I appreciate that. It was during the vote, you made it 7-0, and you said just for the sake of board harmony. Shortly after that, something happened that wasn't very harmonizing, and I do want to talk about it. I'm here tonight because I'm concerned about what I witnessed this morning. While the subject matter involved an important audit and questions regarding county finances, what concerned me most was the tone and the interaction between board members. Supervisor Bates made the statement to the independent auditor expressing he hoped this audit wouldn't become a witch hunt. From my perspective, that comment was not an endorsement of fraud, nor was it an attempt to excuse wrongdoing. Rather, it appeared to me it was a concern that he had for existing and previous county employees that they wouldn't be accused without facts or evidence of some wrongdoing. Unfortunately, the discussion quickly shifted to an accusation that Supervisor Bates somehow was supporting fraud and supporting wrongdoing. These are two very different things. Reasonable people can disagree about how to conduct an investigation. They can disagree about personal decisions. They can disagree about financial oversight. But disagreement should not automatically be interpreted as supporting wrongdoing. Across our country, we see so much hostility and division in government. As citizens, we may have little control over what happens in D.C., but we do have a voice here in Culpeper. We can expect better, and we can demand better. The citizens of this county elected each of you to represent us and work and solve problems. We expect strong debate, we expect difficult conversations, we expect accountability, but we also expect professionalism, respect, and the willingness to listen to each other. The real question is not whether we should have an audit or not. There absolutely should be an audit. The real question is whether the board can conduct the county's business in a manner that builds public confidence rather than undermines it. Can members of the board disagree without questioning each other's motives? Can they debate issues without attacking one another personally? And can they remain focused on what is best for Culpeper County? If there are members on this board who believe that the solution is to disagreement is to make another board member's position so difficult that they choose to resign, I would respectfully suggest that their approach is harming the county. The citizens of Culpeper did not elect 7 people to think alike. They elected 7 people to represent different districts, viewpoints, and concerns. Disagreement should be addressed through facts, discussion, votes, not through personal attacks, public accusations, and an effort to drive someone out of their position.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have one more, so we'll do the last sign up before closing the public hearing. Lynn Bell.
Hopefully everybody can take a breath. It's been a long day, right? You guys have exercised. I'm Lynn Bell, by the way, from Cedar Mountain District. You guys have exercised some serious intellectual gymnastics today. Kudos for many of the hard decisions you had to make. And I know probably many crucial conversations that took place behind the scenes, and a few people before me have very eloquently expressed those. We're still in the storming phase, though, aren't we? Right? Forming, storming, norming, performing. Every time this board changes, there's going to be a little bit of storming, right? The dust is going to get kicked up. Today, with the decision to send the letter to PJM, you guys definitely showed unilaterally that you were listening, as a few speakers before me mentioned. I applaud you for that, sincerely, because it's really about the government doing the work of the citizens, for sure, and others have said that, so I'm repeating myself. But that being said, it's also incumbent on each of you to have civil and crucial conversations It's hard. Passions are high. You feel strongly about that which you believe in your community. Many of you have been here a really long time. Ride the passion, but I want to say for our commitment to being a values-driven organization for the Republican Committee as well, we have taken on and manifested the theme of the Minutemen, and that is that we want to honor our past but inspire our future. We want to stay strong for the values that we have: free enterprise, individual liberties, small government, strong military, and I would include with that also the right to keep and bear arms, faith in God, and I think also that commitment that we have to treat each other as if we truly love one another. That's a hard one sometimes, right? I find that hard myself. Nonetheless, though, I think you guys really rose to the occasion in a lot of ways today. Governance is messy. I've said it before. I'm reminding you that I will continue to know that and support you in that. As Mrs. Rossi said, there is no daylight between us and you. We're here to support you. We're here to help get the message out. We're here to bounce things off of, whatever that is, because we care. We care too. We care about you and we care about our community. Great minds talk about ideas. Average minds talk about events. Small minds talk about people. We want to unify around a vision for this county and this community, and we want to do it with you. So that's the idea. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. And with that, we've made it through the sign-up list. We will close the public hearing. Now we're on to a very rewarding part of the agenda, special presentations. First up, the Board of Supervisors will present a resolution in honor of Lisa Peacock's retirement. Mr. McCrum will read the resolution as hopefully Ms. Peacock will come forward and I will get the play.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Resolution of appreciation for Lisa Peacock upon the occasion of her retirement. Whereas Lisa Peacock is retiring after 43 years of true and dedicated service, with 30 of her years dedicated to serving the citizens of Culpeper County, she joined Culpeper Human Services in 1999 and will retire as the Executive Director on June 30th, 2026. Whereas Lisa provided 12 years of true and dedicated service as the Assistant Director of Social Services and 13 as the Social Services Director, and finally 2 as the Executive Director of Culpeper Human Services. Whereas Lisa completed her Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice in 1982. She went on to work for the VA Department of Rehabilitation Services as a job site coordinator and as a job site placement specialist for Shelter Workshop before joining the Middle Virginia Community Diversion Incentive Program in 1986 as a case manager. In 1988, she became the Executive Director of Middle Virginia's Court Services. In 1996, she finally joined Culpeper County as the Program Director for the Culpeper Community Corrections Program, where she oversaw the operations of local criminal justice programs to include community corrections, crime victims assistance, and options, before joining Culpeper Human Services in 1999. In 2002, while working in the position of Social Services Director, Lisa completed her Master's of Business Administration from the University of Mary Washington. Whereas Lisa has been instrumental in bringing funding to Culpeper County through multiple grant-funded initiatives, she co-wrote the initial Head Start grant in 2003 and oversaw the development and implementation of the Early Head Start Partnership Grant awarded to Culpeper Human Services in 2015. Through her leadership, the Early Head Start program was awarded a second EHS Partnership Grant in 2023, doubling the program's capacity. She also oversaw the Revenue Maximization Program that funded the Family Support Program as a joint initiative with the Culpeper Public Schools. She has also been instrumental in coordinating the Piedmont Warming Shelter, providing shelter for those in need during winter months. This names only a few of her many outstanding accomplishments. Whereas Lisa has served on many boards as a representative of Culpeper Human Services, connecting services to the citizens of Culpeper County. Whereas Lisa was a recipient of the 2024 L.B. Henready Outstanding Citizen Award, recognizing her for her accomplishments to the Culpeper community through her distinguished career. whereas her leadership, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to human services has left a lasting impact on Culpeper County and the surrounding communities. Now therefore be it resolved that the Culpeper County Board of Supervisors hereby extends its heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to Lisa Peacock for her professional and civic contributions. Be it further resolved that the board, staff, and citizens of Culpeper County wish Lisa and her family the very best in all their future endeavors. Presented this second day of June 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the board members and Mr. McCrum for reading that. Well, that was quite a long resolution there, so I appreciate that. I moved to Culpeper in 1983 because I fell in love in college and married my college sweetheart, Steve Peacock. He couldn't be here with me tonight because he's got some health issues, but I just want to say I'm very grateful to him because he supported me all these years in my career. So he let me do my thing, and I really appreciate that. I came here with the thought of and envisioned myself being a police officer here, and that was in 1983, and I think there were 2 women on the sheriff's department's payroll at that time, and I was told by the sheriff that I could be a jail matron, which that was, you know, at 20, that was not my thing. And then I went to the town police and was told that there'll never be a woman on my force. So God had other plans for me at that point. I'm appreciative of that because it took me, I went down a completely different path. We've lived here in Culpeper. I've lived here longer than I lived in Johnson City, Tennessee. We bought a house over near the hospital, a little split-level house. We raised 2 children here, Aaron and Daniel, and I just would want to say thank you to the 2 of them because their whole life, it was mom ran into a client at Walmart, or mom has to work late tonight, or mom has to work this weekend, and they always, you know, work through all those things with me. So I thank them for supporting that. But there was one day in 1999 that changed my life, and I was walking from this building over to the corner where my office was at that time, and I heard, Lisa Peacock, come here. And for those of you that know Chip Coleman, he generally did work out of his car. So he motioned me over and he said, we're going to have an opening for assistant director position. I would love for you to apply for that. And I did, and I was offered the job. And so sort of the rest is history. So I'll forever be grateful to him for that opportunity. I'm very thankful for all the people that I've worked with here in Culpeper over the last 43 years. Can't believe it's been that long. It just seems like yesterday. We've worked together to do some pretty amazing things here, and Culpeper is just a great place to live, to work, and now to retire in. We're not planning on going anywhere. I'm planning on being here. One of the things that I did for the county was for the 2020 census, I was the census chairwoman. Our goal was to try to increase the census by 5%, and then the pandemic hit. And I'm happy to say we almost had 6% increase in participation in the 2020 census. So in 2030, I'll be retired and free. So I have some experience. If you want to reach back out again, I'll be happy to chair that committee because I really did enjoy it. I want to thank you for appointing an amazing Culpeper Human Services Board. Most of them are here with me tonight. You appoint the citizen members that serve on that board, and I've been very blessed with all the appointments that you've made over the years. And I've always told the board, you know, I have a tendency to be like, oh, there's a butterfly, or let me chase this squirrel. And they pretty much, I said, if I go too far, you have to stop me. Otherwise, we're just going to keep moving and we're going to keep developing programs and services for Culpeper County. So I appreciate all the board members that I have worked with over the years. I appreciate all the Board of Supervisors members that I've worked with over the years, the county admin, and most of all, my CHS family, and there's a lot of those folks here, former family members here. And so I just appreciate the recognition, and I just appreciate just being able to give back to my community and to try to make this the best place that we can live in. So thank you so much for this. This means a lot to me. And I'm off to hopefully visit grandchildren and try to relax just a little bit, at least for 6 months, right, Dave? All right, thank you so much again.
Thank you, Ron. And now the Board of Supervisors will present a resolution in honor of Francis Updike upon his 50 years of service to the county. Mr. McCrone.
Resolution commending and honoring Francis Updike for 50 years of service to the Culpeper community. Whereas the citizens of Culpeper are proud to recognize individuals whose dedication, leadership, and public service have strengthened the community and improved the quality of life for its residents. And whereas Francis Updike has faithfully served the people of Culpeper for 50 years as a representative on the Culpeper Joint Board of Zoning Appeals, having begun his distinguished service in May 1976. And whereas throughout his tenure, Francis Updike has demonstrated exceptional commitment, sound judgment, integrity, and professionalism in addressing matters of importance to the orderly growth and development of the community. And whereas Francis Updike served for many years as chairman of the Culpeper Joint Board of Zoning Appeals, providing steady leadership and guidance while helping ensure fairness, transparency, and thoughtful decision-making in service to the citizens of Culpeper. And whereas his unwavering loyalty to the community, dedication to public service, and tireless efforts on behalf of the citizens of Culpeper have earned him the gratitude, admiration, and respect of colleagues, citizens, and community leaders alike. And whereas the legacy of Francis Updike's 50 years of service reflects an extraordinary example of civic responsibility and devotion to the public good that will continue to benefit future generations of Culpeper community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Culpeper County Board of Supervisors hereby congratulates and honors Francis Updike for his remarkable 50 years of dedicated service to the Culpeper community and expresses sincere appreciation for his enduring commitment, leadership, and loyalty to the citizens of Culpeper, Virginia. Be it further resolved that this resolution be spread upon official records of Culpeper County, Virginia, and that a copy be presented to Francis Updike as a lasting expression of gratitude and recognition. Adopted on the 2nd day of June, 2026.
Fear not, I do not come with a thesis or dissertation. I speak from the heart. Those of you who have been around for a while on the board, I'm Francis Updike from the Cedar Mountain District. I've been here, I'm familiar with this podium quite a bit. I had a pet project that I tried to jump in with both feet and help the board. And Paul and Gary and Tom were here. We all were very frustrated until we get this done. As for a secondary entrance and exit at Pearl Sample and A.G. Richardson School, I understand we're further along than we've ever been. That's good. And I mentioned to Mr. Chairman that it'd be nice, maybe in one of the quarterly issues that y'all do, give the citizens a little bit of update of what we're doing and how we're doing. Because I get asked all the time, how's the road? Well, they haven't given me the keys to the bulldozer yet, so that's all right. But that's the only thing I had to say on that. The Board of Zoning Appeals. I came back to Culpeper in 1972 after the Air Force and working for Governor Holton in Richmond. And you look around and I take the approach, if you want to be a part of a community, jump in and help. Don't just come up here and bitch and complain. Put your money where your mouth is. There are plenty of things to be done. Not all of them, Board of Zoning Appeals is not totally citing, but was a necessary function. Now, I'm going to tell you 3 things that happened since I've been on there. When I first started on the Board of Zoning Appeals in 1976, people would just show up. It's automatic. You didn't have to answer too many questions, as long as you didn't infringe on your neighbor or nobody complained. You got what you wanted. Prime example, some years later, this was in the 80s, a certain member of the community, but not who shall remain nameless, was playing golf, and he sent his wife to the meeting. And I happened to be chairman at the time, so I asked a couple questions, as I usually do. And she was so embarrassed, I don't know anything about this. My husband said, all you got to do is show up and he'll give it to you. And I said, no, it doesn't work that way. So we changed that. That worked. I tell you, that worked faster than anything else we could do. The other thing that takes precedent is we treat it as jury duty. Impartiality. I was very proud of what I was doing. And in late 80s, the board recommended a friend of several board members instead of me. I said, fine, if they want it, that's what they can do. But I had one step left. I went to see Judge Sullenberger, the circuit court judge, and I told him of the story, and he said, I'm familiar with your service, and you've been doing a good job. He said, the Board of Supervisors recommends I appoint. That's all I needed. And so the rest is history since then. And as was mentioned, I've done some other things. I've headed up the Board of Equalization for taxes and so forth. So now I'm available again after doing this. I told Mr. Underwood that I'd be willing to serve until they found a replacement, which is fine. We have a good board, and the people have to realize that they have a duty to do, and it's commitment to the county and to the zoning. And without a board like that, all you do is throw the zoning ordinance at it and say, here, look at it, it's yours. That's why you have to have a board for citizen relief when it's justified. So anyway, I have enjoyed working with you board members. Only 3 of you left that were here when I started working on the school situation 4.5 years ago. But y'all are working, doing a good job. So thank you very much, and if you need me, call on me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Updike, I will include an update in the letter in the Culpeper Quarterly on where we are relative to the road. Coming next edition. So with that, that ends our special presentations. This evening, we have one public hearing for general county business. Mr. McCrum, if you'd introduce this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an item that came before the board on May 19th. The board authorized a public hearing to consider granting the town of Culpeper a permanent sidewalk easement on the Laurel Street. This is a part of the Encompass building renovations project, so the town has requested that there be a sidewalk added there on the side of Laurel Street by the Encompass Supports building, which is by the Culpeper Health Department building. And so this is a public hearing to discuss that matter.
Great. Are there any questions of staff or comments of the board before we open the public hearing? Hearing none, we'll open the public hearing. Anybody wish to speak on a sidewalk easement? Okay, hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Do we have a motion or discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion to approve the sidewalk easement, tax map parcel 50-21D1 as part of the Encompass Building Renovations Project.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you. Motion for adjournment. Adjourned.